Hi, everybody. Well, wow. Welcome to another installment of Behind the Scenes at ACVL Ventures. I am excited to be on camera today and share a few things. And not only is today behind the scenes, it's also Trans Day of Visibility. And you may notice that today I have no makeup on. And that's partially intentional, just as an extra thing about being visible and truly behind the scenes today. Um, that I can exist for exactly who I am. I can follow the life that I want to lead, believe in the version of faith that I believe in, and live with confidence that I am walking toward truth and goodness and find my peace because of that. Um, I wanted to share a few updates about where things are going. So, I have definitely had to replan my 2026 content calendar. I'm going to, I think, slow down a little bit on the release of the new shows that I originally slotted for this year. And in favor of that, given the recent acceleration in the rate of advancement of I am actually able to focus on accelerating the original pipeline I had in mind for my ambient content pipeline. And so, if you've been paying attention, pretty much just like on Instagram and wherever it goes from there, I've been posting my ambient content for the last few months, and I have been grateful to see gather some new followers, kind of clean house a little bit as I mature and shift in how I operate this business. You'll definitely see a lot more coming from the reality studio as things evolve, as more systems come online, but things are moving along quite well. And truthfully, you know, there's been a lot of hiccups, ups and downs, even just in the last month. I remember, you know, uh, just details of whiplash of one model comes out and then you gain access to it and then you lose access to it, and just things of working with AI that folks who aren't in the space may not understand those experiences and how they can impact your ability to do your work on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that is really fun about working in a space with cutting edge technology and not being primarily a developer of the technology, but more a practitioner of the technology, is that the frontier is truthfully jagged. And that does mean that the work can feel sometimes like, well, it's something I saw recently from Layla Hermosi, for example. She talks about how it's like you have to be on that grind all the time, always learning something new. And I definitely agree with that because we don't know everything. And in order to get things right, especially when you're trying to run a business, there's so many things to keep in mind. And your worldview just continues to expand, 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 expand. Because you have to be at the frontier if you want to be the best at what you do and therefore be competitive in the marketplace and make a profit off of the work that you're doing. You have to find some way to put yourself into that niche. And so you're looking for what that jagged frontier is. And so you might think that the work feels all over the place at times. And I've had people give me that kind of feedback before, like, your work feels like it's all over the place. And well, in some ways, especially in the earlier days, I definitely feel like I kind of agreed with that. But now that things have matured and I've pushed further along the frontier, I can see with clarity how everything has come together into a clear picture, the reality studio. And that's why it's so easy now to talk about all of the work that I do without fear. Um, you know, like one of the exciting things that happened even just this week was Suno released one of their new models, and I've just started experimenting with it. Every time they release a new model, it's quite a fun time because the music quality gets better. And I was listening to the release radar this week, and one of the artists that I follow, his name is Fern, from Social Club Misfits. he has spoken multiple times among other artists in the space against using AI in music, and I just find that so silly. Like, I totally value creators' rights, and I am also a creator. And I believe that these technologies are already here and that we should steward them well because of that. And these technologies are part of what makes it possible for me to even do the kind of work that I'm doing, even though I know that a lot of my work is not visible yet, not legible yet to the majority of society. It doesn't have to be, because I am at peace with the work that I am doing, and I have done the work not just because I think it's cool, but I've chosen the work that I've done because I'm trying to embody the values that I learned from sitting at the feet of Jesus, to his teachings, learning what it truly means to love. And it's changed the entire way that I view running my life, my business, and my everything. And it's really why I do all the work that I do, because I think that we can see a better future where we have peace and cooperation and unity and love. And, you know, it's wild hearing people bicker and complain and get angry because you think one person's a sinner and another person thinks a different person's a sinner, or just a bad person if you're secular, non-religious. You could just find some way to make people seem less than by their actions or by their characteristics. And that's one of the things that I'm actively trying to fight against here at Isabel Ventures. I believe in the inherent dignity of every single human being, and that is why my entire model of how I approach work and value and intellectual property is very different. I would say modern, because I'm trying to do things differently around here. And so, well, I've kind of blabbed for a little while, and I don't want to take up anybody else's time any more than this, but if you've watched it this far, thank you for taking the time just to sit and listen with me, hear some of my thoughts come out of my head as I'm experiencing my life, as I'm being visible, as I'm running my business, and I'm documenting it here for our collective benefit. And I just pray that this is received with love as it is given with love. And if you have watched this, reach out to me. I'm asking you. Let's get to know each other. The fact that you've taken the time to watch this means that you've looked into my catalog. You know something about me. You've taken the time to really listen when I'm being vulnerable and raw. That's worth connecting over, because those are the kinds of builders that I can really do something with. Anyway, I guess another call to collaboration. Love y'all. Until next time, in love and unity, Isabel.